Levi, it's Wednesday and I'm still here at home living the dream. I get to sleep now and it's really awesome. But I thought I'd make a video about something that's not really related to what you did in your last video, but it's kind of tangentially related. I wanted to talk about the concept of roguelikes in video games and what that genre entails and what kind of like makes a roguelike game a roguelike game. Now, I assume many of you don't know what roguelikes are. I personally didn't until like a couple years ago, and that's mostly due to the recent increase in popularity for roguelike games, but it's also because I'm dumb. Games like Hades and Slay the Spire are big ones that come to my mind when I'm thinking about roguelike games, and those are all pretty recent. But in fact, I had been playing a roguelike game for a long time and I didn't even know it, and that game is Nuclear Throne. Now, if you know me personally or have been my Steam friend for the past couple of years, you'll know that I am a very big fan of Nuclear Throne, and I did check while I was doing research for this video, and it is my third most played game on Steam. But I got it for my birthday like 5 years ago, and it's really good, but I didn't even know like what kind of game it was until like a couple years ago. So what is a roguelike game? Now, I'm not a professional. I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I have done a little bit of Wikipedia research and a fair amount of in the field watching people play games and also playing them myself research, and I've come up with 3 elements that I think define a roguelike game. 1. Roguelike games are almost always comprised of permadeath gameplay loops, and what I mean by that is that it is basically you create a character, you send your character into the world, and then you die. And then you do the whole thing over again. That's the basic gameplay loop for most roguelike games. 2. The world that your character goes in and explores is randomly generated. Almost every single roguelike game nowadays, especially, has a randomly generated set of levels that you go through. The environments might be the same, but the actual content, where the enemies are, where items are, how it all, like, flows together is randomly generated, and then it makes for a new, unique experience each time you start a new loop. 3. This might be modernity bias, but most roguelike games have upgrades or builds or some kind of system like that, where basically either between loops or in single loops, you gain items or abilities that are from like a huge list. You just get access to a couple of them, and that changes how you play your character. That changes on how easy or difficult the rest of the game is, and that can change through different loops, or you can get progressive items through multiple loops. Ones that have like those longer term items often have both systems. So it's basically like a way of having advancement, both short term and long term, in a game that you're constantly resetting over and over again. So permadeath gameplay loops, randomly generated worlds, and character upgrades, making builds, are the 3 things that I think create roguelikes. I don't have the most experience in the genre, but I thought this would be a fun video to kind of break down what this really nebulous term means. Levi, hopefully you found it interesting, and I will see you on Friday.